Australia is fucked. You're getting bent over and railed from behind. That's a video that I made on Instagram and it got over 1.1 million views. It went quite viral. In that video, there was a lot of talk about how hard it is for a business owner in these Western countries. And I actually killed my $15 million business and moved to Thailand to escape all the fuckery. Now in this video, I'll break down the 3 steps you can take as a business owner to have the life you want, a life of freedom, a life of profit, a life that you've actually worked so fucking hard for. And you'll be able to follow these 3 steps whether you live in Australia, America, Thailand, or Timbuktu. So I hope these 3 steps help you create some level of freedom to have the life you desire. Quick side note, if you're here to listen to me bitch about Western countries or Australia, that's not what we're going to be doing here. Sure, it is pretty fucked right now, but we don't want to be in victim mentality. This is going to provide the solution or some of the things that I've done to be able to rebuild my life in another country and show you how you can do the same regardless of where you live. So let's get into the steps. Step 1 is to build a life by design, not by default. Think about it, most Australians, most Western countries, the definition of success is to grind. We sacrifice, we hustle, and you end up not enjoying the journey along the way. You have no time, you're constantly busy, and you're chronically stressed, all in the pursuit of making more money or growing your business. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. However, if you're sacrificing your freedom, your fun, and your fulfillment in the process only to get bent over by the government and taxed through the arse, then you're not going to enjoy the game. Now, building a life by design versus default is sort of like building a house. You wouldn't build a house or pour the concrete slab and start putting it together without first designing what you want that house to look like. How many children are going to be in that house? How many bedrooms? Where's the light going to be coming in? You would have a plan for how you want it to look like, and that's what you'd work towards. Yes, when it comes to running a business, we sort of just get trapped in this Groundhog Day and this struggle and sacrifice. And this is where building a life by design instead of default comes in. For most business owners, we haven't truly defined our definition of freedom. I realized that living in Australia, I couldn't achieve my dream life. I was making great money in my business, revenue was high, but my profit was extremely low. I had way too many staff, a lot of which didn't enjoy working at the business or do their jobs properly, which meant I was a full-time firefighter. I was working massive hours, I had no time for my children, and every single week was sacrifice and struggle. So I asked myself a simple question. What do I want my dream life to look like? And this is something that you get to do and actually define to the nth degree so you understand what you're working towards. How many hours do you want to be working every single day? What time do you want to start and finish work? How much travel do you want to do or have each year? Who do you want to be spending time with outside of business? When you realize that your business is a vehicle to get you from where you are today, point A, to where you want to go, point B, then you can design your business around your life, not the other way around. And for a lot of Australians, Americans, or Western, residents, we want to live in those countries. So then the question becomes, well, how do we, despite the taxes and despite the government fucking us from behind, how do we build the life and the business that we've been working so hard for? But until you have the definition of what your dream life looks like, you cannot actually achieve it. This is where it becomes so important to define your definition of freedom and to ask yourself the question, what does freedom actually look like for me? Is it mental freedom, emotional freedom, time freedom, or location freedom? Most business owners just get trapped in one direction, which is going for financial freedom. So define your dream life first. What do you actually want? And then you can build the path to get there. Step 2 is to define your freedom number. It's so easy to fall into this trap of wanting more, the nicer house, the nicer car, and all the things to keep up with the Joneses. And it can feel like no matter how much money you earn or no matter how hard you work, you're not actually achieving the success you're working so damn hard for. Put in the taxes and all the bullshit from the government and it becomes even harder. But the problem is that while we're chasing more, which there's nothing inherently wrong with, a lot of us end up not enjoying the journey along the way. And Rick Rubin says, one of the most successful music producers in the world, that what we're constantly doing inside of our lives, inside of our businesses, is we're trying to achieve the thing. We're trying to achieve a number in our bank account. We're trying to achieve a certain financial goal or a certain thing that we want to buy or a certain place that we want to live in. And we think that's the thing that's going to enable us to fill the hole we have inside ourselves. And that hole is never filled by the thing. So it's really important to identify what is the number of liquid investments that you need to be able to live that dream life. And that's the target that you aim for. You don't need any more. As a matter of fact, you don't even need to hit that number. You get to figure out how to enjoy the journey on the way to hitting that number. For me, I looked at my business as this evil thing that took away all my time and freedom, and I had a very unhealthy relationship with my business. Couple that with the frustration around living in Australia and the taxes and all the fuckery, I really stopped enjoying my life. I wasn't as present for my children, I wasn't there for my wife when she needed me, all because I was so chronically stressed inside of the business. The secret here is figuring out how you can live in any country in the world and build a business that is taking you towards your dream life and getting you to that freedom number. But until you define what that number actually is, you don't know what you're aiming for, and you get stuck in this horrible disease of more, which is grind, sacrifice, and hustle. So combining step one with designing your dream life instead of living a life by default and actually understanding your freedom number allows you to look at your business as this vehicle to get you there and something that you can love and enjoy every single day. Because when you really break it down, what's the alternative to running a business in your country? Sure, you can move to Thailand like I did. Sure, you can go work for somebody else or start a new business, but all of the paths towards your freedom number are going to have challenges and difficulties along the way. If you can learn how to actually enjoy the journey, regardless of where you live, regardless of what you do for a living, then you're going to love the fucking game. And every single day you work towards hitting that number is a day you get closer to achieving true freedom. So define your freedom number. What is the number of liquid cash or investments you need so that you can draw down through investments, 10 to 20% a year, to live your dream life? Often that number is much lower than you think it is, and you don't necessarily need to keep grinding or strive for more. Now, all of this might sound great in principle, and you might be thinking, well, yeah, sure, sounds fucking good, but I've got rent to pay, a mortgage to put money into, I've got to feed a family. It's not as simple as just not working more or not doing more. Yes, I want freedom, but I need to hustle and sacrifice to get there. Well, that's where the third step comes in. It's probably the most important. And again, you can do this from anywhere in the world when you look at your business through a different lens. The third step is to stop scaling and start optimizing profit. We've been told by all the gurus online that we need to scale our businesses, and it's inherently inside of us as Australians, Americans, or Western residents to be growing and achieving more. And again, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. However, what ends up happening is we start adding more complexity. And I want you to imagine this is like you're trying to bake the most amazing cake in the world, and you think that by adding more ingredients to the cake, it's going to be the best, most delicious cake you've ever baked before. Now, you might be a baker, but just hear me out on this one. Well, the best cakes in the world are typically a few ingredients dosed in the right way with the right ratios to make the perfect cake. Now, we're not talking about baking here. We're talking about building a life and a business that gives you freedom. What happened in my business was I ended up hiring more people, I brought in more systems, and I built a lot of complexity into my business. And as revenue went up, the profit went down, because so many business owners chase the shiny object, which is revenue. I'm making $1 million a year, $3 million a year, $10 million a year. Great, but how much of that are you actually keeping? When my business was at its peak, it's made over $15 million. At $5 million a year, I had no time, no freedom, no fun, and I also had no profit left over. Every single business has an optimal range or an optimal level that it can operate at where you scale the profit instead of trying to scale revenue. And it really requires you looking at your business through a different lens and asking, okay, how can I build this business in a way where I achieve my dream life and my freedom number, and I build a life by design where I can do what I want whenever I want without all the pressure and stress? Now, this might require looking at your business and deciding you want more staff. You want to leverage AI to actually help you run your business. You want to remove some of the expenses that are built up over years. This isn't necessarily easy or simple to do, but it does require you to take a step back and ask yourself, where have I become bloated in my business? Where have I brought on more complexity, more people, more staff in this pursuit of scaling revenue? And to ask yourself systematically and over time, what can I strip back to build a business that gives me freedom now, even though I haven't achieved that freedom number? This is incredibly difficult to do. It requires you to say no to jobs, projects, or revenue that you could potentially take on. It requires you to kill some parts of your business that no longer serve you. It requires you to look at your business and ask, what are the profitable pieces and what are the things I do every single day that are a waste of time? But when you start optimizing profit instead of revenue, you make different decisions inside of your business. And the number one decision is what I'm doing right now going to give me freedom today and in the future? If the answer is no, you kill it relentlessly. This is why I ended up firing half of my team and then half my team again. We went from a team of 30 in the business before I moved over to Thailand to now having a team of 5, but our revenue is often 2 to 3 times more per month, making anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 a month of profit, even though the revenue has been cut in over half because I started optimizing profit instead of scaling revenue. So you might have watched this far and be thinking, okay, cool. So I build a life by design. I basically figure out what I actually fucking want in business instead of living in Groundhog Day. I basically define a freedom number of how much my business gets to make and earn so that I can live my dream life. And then I get to start stripping my business back and just killing things and deleting things and focus on profit instead of freedom. It can't be that simple. Well, it's not. Like, there's more to it than that. But ultimately, it doesn't matter whether you live in Thailand, America, or Australia. What matters is, are you living in alignment with what you started this business for in the first place? The reality is these steps are the first steps, and there are many more. Systemizing your business, figuring out how to have the right team, figuring out how to use AI and leverage all the different tools. But without these foundational steps, you're not gonna stop looking at your business through this lens of scale and do more. And this is exactly where we help a lot of our clients. We have a system that has our freedom number in one place, our profit, but we also track things like peace, presence, joy, connection, productivity, and purpose. We have our tasks for the day and our goals and targets. Most business owners get trapped in the grind because their business is all over the place. So of course they feel trapped in a Western country. Of course they feel trapped in Australia and like they can't get anywhere. The final step is really establishing how do you get your business out of your head and into one place? And how do you connect your personal life to your business so that you can have freedom and fulfillment in all areas? And that's exactly what I teach on this channel. So if you got value from this video, feel free to drop a comment down below. Let me know how you're feeling about your current situation. Are you based in Australia, America? Where are you currently living? How frustrated are you with the government and your current situation? And what are the challenges you're dealing with in business? And if you got value from this video, I actually broke down how you can create systems in your business so that it runs without you. Because when your business runs without you, while achieving your freedom number, you hit your goals in record time. So if you want to see that video, I'll pop the link up above here somewhere, wherever my finger is pointing. And I hope you got value from this. Go and check that video out if you want to learn how to do that.